Welcome to Modern Hackers. Please subscribe and do not forget to like the video if you have enjoyed. Hello folks, this is the part 2 episode of Stradale SF90 Alpha model Ferrari build with custom 3D printed wheels. You can find the 3D STL model in the download video description, and this will be a unique look and feel with this special black painting. We started with an automobile paint. It is a Ferrari color, Nero Daytona black. It's a special mixture. You should thin properly with the appropriate thinner. After thinning, we start the painting. You can find the airbrush link in the video description. We apply the paint in thin layers. Especially for these automotive paints, you need to keep the order of layers for proper coverage. On the top of the base primer, you need to add between 4 or 5 layers to have proper coverage. It has a metallic and shiny look and feel, silverish look and feel. Even it's a black, but there are some shiny silver particles in it, in this Ferrari Daytona Nero color. Initially it looks darker green, and after the dark green you get to closer black or blackish paint. I start the practicing of the paint and color, how it looks on the small parts before I go to the big part, the body. This paint is forgiving. Thinning out on the surface well, based on the industrial paint and industrial thinner. Then after I started painting the body was earlier fully primed with Mr. Ruby Mr. Color Surfacer 1000 and 1500 primer, and after we now painting. If you're interested in the priming, you can check out the previous part 1 video of SF90 Stradale. You need to carefully go through all of the major details of the car. This airbrush is spraying like a moon shape spray. It's covering a large surface, but you can see it's also not enough, so you need to go in multiple rounds. And later on we will go a smaller airbrush to go into the edges. This big airbrush is covering the majority of the body. That's enough. We will check the details later. The goal is to have a base coverage first, and don't overspray, that's a key. because if you overspray, it's also collecting the dust. This stage not beneficial to collect any dust. Initially the color looks dark green, don't worry. As it gets more layers, it will darkening to a black. You need to give additional layers also for the parts. I switched to a smaller airbrush, which can cover more the details and less spraying capability. It has just 0.2 nozzle. The previous one had 0.5 nozzle. I go to the edges of the parts, making sure each part has enough coverage. If you skip this step, it won't be able to fix later, or you need to fix on the top of the varnish that you don't want, I believe. After the painting, you have to check the surface. If there are any imperfections, you should sand it down before the varnish. It's critical. We will give a matte varnish, so a non-shiny varnish, but also the same preparation needed. We go with Mobile Automotive varnish. This is a two-component varnish. You need to add the base varnish and you need to add half of that, the hardener, add some thinner, some acrylic thinner. It's very interesting that acrylic thinner is thinning. Mixed it and you can apply like a full shiny clear coat, same application method. if you put too much thinner, then it's decreasing the matte look and feel. But if you're not thin enough, then you can't use in your airbrush. First of all, the first layers giving kind of bridge and layer on the top of the paint, because the paint is contained is with particles, so it's the first, second, third layer of varnish. It's just flattening out the surface. After you get the flat surface, it's might smooth and might shinier than before, so you need to decrease the thinning ratio. You need to remove the dust. If you find anything imperfection, you're still able to sand this down. I'm not recommending polishing, sanding with the 3000 Tamiya sanding sponge. I could sand properly, and it's important to call out that compared with the one component varnishes, if you do a matte finish, you should use this two component varnish, especially the matte one. And if you want to do more matte finish, then you can also put on the top of that an additional Mr. Wood, Mr. Color matte varnish. But after that, this matte varnish is just coloring, but actually don't need to protect the surface. The two component varnish already protecting the surface, that the paint not coming off, not have an injury with the assembly. So after I applied the Mr. Hobby matte additional varnish, I got this really matte kind of plastic matte surface finish that I was looking for, because in contrast to this, the wheels and the rear bumper will be, and the spoiler will be fully shiny gloss. That will be the contrast between the elements. So the focus will go to the wheels, the special 3D printed wheels, look and feel point of view. This wheel is just designed and created for this car in this ratio, and available for this alpha model kit in the video description. So the parts are now covered with gloss varnish, shiny gloss varnish. It's also two component varnish. You have to thin with a similar concept, that the base varnish and half of them hardener and add to some thinner, and also the wheels, the mirrors also get this shiny look and feel. I'm adding 4 or 5 coats. The first and second coats were, I'm satisfied with the result. With initial matte coat and this additional matte finish, it's cut the shininess. Thank you for watching Modern Hackers. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed.